Hello, and welcome to Story Time. Today's book is called Shadow the Sheepdog, Shadow to the Rescue. This book was written by Enid Blyton and published by Carnival. First, I will read you the back. It's winter time, and the sheep have to be brought down off the high hills to safer pastures when the snow comes. But one of the ewes and her 2 newborn lambs are missing. Shadow decides to go to the rescue. I hope you will all enjoy this book. I've read it many times before and thoroughly enjoyed it. Any interruptions in the background of this tape will be a poor little girl who I have next to me. She has hurt her toe and tends to cry sometimes. Now, on with the story. When you hear this sound, turn the page.
As the summer passed away and autumn came, Shadow the sheepdog grew into a really fine dog. His master, Johnny, was very proud of him and the other sheepdogs on the farm. Rafe, Tinker, and Dandy thought twice before they tried to roll him over now. Old Bob did not take much notice of him, but then Bob took very little notice of any other dog. And there's a nice picture of Shadow the sheepdog walking on some grass. Shadow spent a great deal of time running over the hills. He wanted to know every inch of them because Tinker had told him that that was a thing all sheepdogs should know, every foot of their own countryside.
Then, if you are told to take the sheep here, there, or anywhere, you will always know exactly where to go and the shortest way to get there,
said Tinker. Shadow soon knew every field, every valley, every hill, every glen, and every rock. He knew the streams and where they began. He knew the caves in the next hillside and had been in every one of them. He stored all his knowledge away in his sharp doggy mind. Here is a picture of some dogs with Shadow. I don't know which ones they are. I'll just ask my friend here. Who is this top one here?
Ralph.
That one's called Ralph. And who's the ginger one?
Tinker.
That's Tinker. And who's this one here underneath?
Danny.
Danny, and this one must be Shadow then, is it?
Yeah.
Right. And they're running around in the snow. Winter came on. It was cold up the hills, and snow fell early. The old shepherd was expecting newborn lambs before Christmas, and he lived up in his hut with Bob, the mongrel sheepdog. Rafe, Tinker, Dandy, and Shadow went to visit Bob each day. Are there any lambs yet? Asked Shadow.
2,
Said Bob.
come and see him.
He took the 4 dogs into a small pen. Inside lay a big, woolly mother sheep, and nuzzling by her were 2 tiny lambs, whose legs looked far too long for their body. Oh yes, this is a nice picture on this page. There's a man, and I think that's Shadow. And can you see those sheep? They're the Osmond family, I think. The father, who is the one with his back to the wind, that one is called Ali Osmond. The mother one, who is giving milk to the baby, is called Sue Osmond. The baby hasn't got a name yet, and the other baby who is just standing up, sadly, I think he dies later, and his name's Hussein Osmond. Right, back to the story. As the winter passed, more and more newborn lambs lay in the fields or staggered about on unsteady legs. The shepherd was pleased because he had not lost a single lamb. All were strong and healthy, and the farmer was glad. The weather cleared and the snow melted. The farmer told the dogs to take the sheep to the next hill, where the grass was good. Rafe, Tinker, Bob, Dandy, and Shadow set off, with Johnny behind them, eager for the walk. The sheep were glad to reach the grass on the next hill. It was always good there. The hill was steep and rocky in places, but the turf was sweet and tasty. Soon the whole flock was peacefully grazing there, with the young lambs frisking beside them. On this this page we've got a nice picture of Johnny pointing to something on a hill, maybe the sheep, and his dad, I think, and one of the dogs sitting on the floor near them. But after 2 days, a queer change came over the sky. It looked heavy and laden.
Almost as if it's going to fall down on top of us,
said Johnny to his father.
It's going to snow again.
Yeah,
said the farmer anxiously.
and it looks like as if it's going to be an heavy fall too. I think we'd better get the sheep back down to our own hill in safety. We can pen them there if we need to.
That was a busy afternoon for the 5 dogs. The great flock of sheep was scattered all over the hills, and it needed all the dogs' swiftness and sharpness to get them together. The little lambs ran with their mothers, bleating in fright. The flock was moved off down the hillside to the hill where the shepherd had his hut. By the time that the dogs had done their work, it was snowing heavily. Soon the snow was 2 or 3 inches thick. The sky was dark, and it was difficult to work in the half light. And there's 3 dogs on this picture, chasing some sheep down a hill. Oh yes, it's half light, you see, and it's hard to work in, so they need a little lantern. The shepherd stood by the entrance to the pens. He had to put up hurdles for the sheep, and he was counting them as they went inside. He knew every sheep and every lamb. It was 8 o'clock, and as dark as pitch before all the sheep and the lambs were safely in. The dogs were all tired out. All they wanted to do was to lie by a fire and rest after a good meal. They looked up at the farmer as he swung his lantern for the shepherd.
Are we all there, Jim? He shouted. There's a big old ewe missing, and her small lambs, answered the shepherd. She was always a wanderer, that sheep. She's maybe taken her lambs over the top of the hill and into the next valley. Well, it's too late to fetch her in now. Couldn't one of the dogs go? Said the farmer. I don't want to lose any sheep, Jim. Let Bob go. He's sharp at finding any of your sheep, no matter where these are.
The shepherd spoke to Bob. The dog got up at once and ran into the night. He knew quite well that he must look for the missing sheep. And we'll have some more of the story tomorrow night. Goodbye.